Mr.
compartmentalize.
Mr. Adriano, we're getting a sense of, like you said, di ba? Parang 10 years, I get a sense na yung isang dekada na yun, optimistic pa yun, yung projection na yun. But whatever it is, we're talking about multi-administrations coming through. I mean, it's one thing to have a holistic plan. It's another thing to completely have faith in our political system that this medium-term plan or long-term plans are going to be carried out by every administration. How do we ensure that? I mean, we talk about medium-term development plan for the whole country, a long-term plan for agriculture. How do we ensure that across administrations that will actually be followed?
It will be difficult nga kasi nga yung even the Secretary of Agriculture, if you look at it, they change it every 2 or 3 years. So, like for example, the previous secretary came out with a food value chain paradigm analysis. I don't know whether it's being followed now because the focus is increasing production. So I cannot. It's a tough question that you raised, and I might be controversial here, but I think we need to look and review our local government code because eventually it has to be location specific. Secondly, we need to look at our political system, review it, because it's increasingly becoming a dysfunctional political system. I call it dysfunctional democracy. But it's a political kind of thing. It's no longer agriculture. Because there is no continuity, you know?
Yeah.
Unlike for example, if you look at Malaysia and Vietnam, during the Mahathir period, they came out with a 5-year development plan. There was they drafted it, they tried to get the consensus, they got the consensus, and devote a block of funds sustainably for that 5-year period. So in other words, politicians cannot just meddle what activities should be pursued, given that this is the technical requirement or scientific requirement of promoting agricultural development. Ganun yung nangyari sa kanya. I just don't know whether our political system will permit that.
But then you mentioned the local governments. I'm just wondering, because we keep looking at the national government, doon walang continuity. But you did, I mean, a lot of people do have a different level of faith when it comes to local government. But beyond local government, basically just looking beyond national government, is it possible to have continuity somehow, you know, made up for by local government and maybe even private sector and maybe even civil society? In other words, trying to find that continuity and that mechanism for continuity outside of national government, looking at other sectors to provide that leadership and stability.
It is possible because eventually it has to be localized, and that's the reason why. And the fact that na-devolve na lahat yung extension workers natin, di ba? So in other words, whatever R&D innovations that you produce at the center or national level, the DA does not have the agricultural extension workforce. It is large, or they are large in the LGU. So yun ang nawala yung link na yun And that's the reason why we cannot update the knowledge of our farmers because there is no good coordination between LGU and the national. And unfortunately, in many of our LGUs, they do not give priority to agricultural development because they have other priorities like health, education, whatever, that will win them election in the next 3-year cycle. So ganun yung nangyayari.